Hello everyone. Pleasure to be here. I held a baby. Not my own if you're wondering. In fact, she was an orphan. And I was petrified. Not because she was an orphan, but because of how she came to be one. You see, a woman in Maputo was walking home one evening when she heard the cries of a baby coming from a dumpster, and then rendered it to social services, which is where I got to know her. Of which, when I did meet her, it was my very first time at an orphanage. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. But I did know how I felt. And that was perplexed. In awe with the love, the care, perplexed at how this community came together, taking what was a baby with a death sentence, turning that into a flourishing life. Fortunately for her, she's now in caring and responsible hands. However, children every day, not just in Maputo, but all over Mozambique, are abandoned, left to die, in these same circumstances, if not worse. Now, child neglection. You might have not expected to hear about this today, especially considering that when I look at you guys, a lot of you are students with no plans of having children anytime soon, right? However, this is something that we need to come together as a community and address. Plus, I'm pretty sure it's too late to take me off stage now. So, everything I said until this point regarding orphans has come as a result of parental neglect. However, this isn't always the case. In fact, 1.1 million children in Mozambique have lost their parents to HIV and AIDS. 1.1 million. To put this into perspective, imagine every single person in Maputo, no parents. Now you may begin to understand this. And that's only part of all the orphans in this country. Now, does anyone have an idea what anything I say has to do with Kintsugi? Well, each orphan child carries with them a story of loss and abandonment. They are like broken pieces of pottery, waiting to be put back together. And just as Kintsugi honors the brokenness of pottery in its new form through the use of precious metals, so too can we honor the experiences of these children by providing them with the love and support that they need. We restore not what, but who was left alone without anyone or any direction to go. Provide the child with all their needs, restoring what was once a broken vessel, hence Kintsugi. Now, there are several precedents as to how we as a community have come together to deal with this issue. Looking beyond government programs, there are of course children's homes, adoption and foster systems. Solutions are not limited to this. I've come to find other means of preventing and dealing with this, especially when looking at such a specific case, such as Mozambique. One, the prevention of the spread of HIV and AIDS. This shouldn't come as a surprise to you. As you should know, Mozambique is one of the countries with the worst cases of HIV and AIDS on the planet. 2, educating of people regarding reproduction and parenting. Put simply, some parents just need to be taught how to parent. And 3, the access to opportunities. The biggest difference by far between any one of us here in this room right now and the average Mozambican orphan is the access to opportunities. This is mostly propagated by the low quality of education, if any to begin with, of these children. Now, I know that everyone that was on the stage before me mentioned or referenced or told a story about how an issue came to be and how it was overcome. Despite that baby's story being one of success, there's several children whose hearts, several who may need your help right now, several with no one to hear their cries. And at this point, I'm sure that we understand what Kintsugi means, right? The art of restoration. Because now, you need to be that restoration. You need to be a part of the community that rebuilds. You will change someone's life, change someone's destiny. Be the restoration. Be Kintsugi. Thank you.